Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Sri Saraswatye Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Lokashankaram Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Sri Tapovan Sishyaya Namaha. Let us do the Shanti Patha for the Chandogya Upanishad. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Jasarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te Mai Santu Te Mai Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. We are doing Chandogya Upanishad. We are now Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6. We have completed 9 sections so far. First section of this Upanishad introduces the characters. The teacher, Uddalaka, his son, Swetaketu. And then from sections 2 to 7, it talks about Tatpada Vichara, the Karana behind the Jagat. Jagat means the universe that we see. What is the cause behind that? And it says it is the cause behind this universe is Sat, existence, impersonal presence, witness, presence, consciousness. Now, how come we do not see it? The reason we do not see is our mind is on the effects. The effects are called in this Upanishad Nama Rupa, names and forms. The common example that is given in the Upanishad is our mind does not see the cause when there is a utility involved. And the names and forms are given based upon the utility. So when you see a pot, we forget it is made of clay. When we see a wave, our mind is only on the wave, but we forget it is made of water. So in the same way, the whole universe, according to the teaching, Tatpada Vichara, whole universe is Brahman. Sat, it is called. And everything is appearance in it. Just like wave is an appearance in water, pot is an appearance in clay. It can be pot, it can be a vase, it can be a dish, it can be anything. But without clay, none of them are possible. In the same way, for the whole universe, there is only one cause. That is called Sat or Brahman. Now in section 8, usually, before we go to section 8, I'm just giving a quick summary. Usually when we understand something like this, we think, okay, there is something called Sat, which I'm not able to see, but it is present all along as the cause. But we never relate it to us. Because we understand by training, our understanding is only in the mind, not here. Here means realization. But here means we think, okay, that is what, that is Sat, is everywhere is Sat. So what do I do to get that? That's how the question comes. Because our mind is thinks in terms of cause and effect. If I do this, I get this. If I do this, I get this. If I study, I get a job. So there is an action, there is a knowledge, and then an action. The action is not the prime, is the primary cause. My knowledge is to get the action. My mind is on the result. Karma, karma phala. My action or knowledge, acquiring knowledge of, let us say, I'm a I'm a furnace engineer or a chemical engineer. So my knowledge is here on the objective knowledge. And then I only operate outside in that field. So that knowledge is only here. Where Vedanta is saying it's Sat is not just an objective knowledge. Sat is you. In other words, it is not idam. Idam is it. It is aham. Aham means me as the impersonal, witness, aware, conscious principle. In that everything appears. So in the mental knowledge, the appearances we catch on the appearances, and then the results also appearances. We live in that circle of me and mine, I and mine. That I is defined by what I get out of this, but I forget who I am as I. So Shastra is first tells you that Tvam Tatpada Vichara is all pervading Brahman, is essential existence. And you are. So, what is my relationship with that essential existence and I? What is the relationship? Until we know my relationship with that Brahman, we actually knowledge doesn't place. That knowledge has to take place here, different from the type of knowledge we are used to. That takes place when the mind stops. But the teacher is trying to tell you that. How does he tell in section 8? This is called Twampada. Twampada means individual. Vichara is this evaluation. How does the teacher say? No, basically your nature, your swarupa is where you are most happy. Because swarupa is where you are stable, changeless. That is your nature. So you are happiest, ever eternal and changeless. Change is the reason for unhappiness. And the change is the process in waking and dream. Happy and unhappy come there. What changeless is as you are in deep sleep. That is Sat. So your true nature is a deep sleep. When you wake up, you take up the role of ego and then its manifestation. Mama, ego and what it has. I and mine. That is limited by your body, mind, intellect. This is section 8. Then he explained, you are that peaceful, essential presence that you become during deep sleep. Here, I have explained last week, a couple of weeks we had a break due to some unavoidable reasons. That's why the message of that, we should go back. So he has actually says, I want to explain this again. Saha ya saya esho anima aitadatmidam sarvam tat sat tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi svetaketo iti bhu iti. I will repeat again. Sa ya esho anima aitadatmidagum sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi. Svetaketo is the name of the student. So this line is the Mahavakya. Tattvamasi is the Mahavakya. It's called Upadesha Vakya. The teacher is telling you who you are. Tat, that Brahman. Tvam, you are also that which you experience in deep sleep, as I explained. But here, you need to make sure you get all the subtle points here. Saha ya esho anima. That sat which is subtler than the finest particle. Here, anima is important. Sukshma. Sukshma means very, 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 very fine. Finer than the finest particle available. Because even the finest particle arises in it using this. Okay. So basically, what is that Saesha anima, Saesha anima, Avishayatvat, Aprameyatvat, Sarva Pramana Agocharatvat. Finer the material, more and more clarity is required in the mind. Because grosser, solid is the grossest. Because all the five senses work. Hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, and taste. Taste and seeing. All the five work. And then goes to, when you go to next level, less subtle or more subtle, water, taste is not there. More subtle, it is fire. Taste and smell disappear. More subtle, if you go to air, it has only touch and sound. If you go to space, only sound is there. So you have less and less pramanas to experience it. It's subtler and subtler and subtler. Now, Atman aprameya. It's not an object of senses. It is you. You have to be there before senses are enabled. So that's anima. It is the very, very finest of the finer. Finer than the finest, if I may say that. Etadatmamidagam sarvam. Aitadatmamidagam sarvam. That is the essential nature of the whole universe. Atmyam means essence of the whole thing. Just like gold is essence of golden ornaments. The whole universe, essence of whole universe is Atman, Brahman. Tat Satyam. That is the only changeless entity in the universe. The deep sleep state is a changeless state. Changes. Sa Atma. I'm just giving all these small sentences sentences built in this statement. Sa Atma. That is the essential nature of all Nama Rupas. What I call a pot, what I call a wave, they're all their essential nature is Brahman. Sa Atma. Then he says, Tattvam Asi, you are that. Upadesa Vakya. So your deep state, deep sleep state is your essential nature. That is the green room where you go and meet. All the characters meet. Rama, Ravana become friends there. Green room. When they come out on the stage, they play the roles. They fight, they argue, all these things. But when they go back, the natural state where they go back. So our natural state is deep sleep state. Our dream state and our waking state are assumed roles, conditioned by our past and expectations. Because of those conditioning, you become as though you are in a jail. Then you want a bigger house, bigger, whatever it is. And then it's a different jail. Since still it is jail, you are not free. So then from section 9 to section 16, now the questions and answers. Because the Upanishad is a conversation between father and son. So father can anticipate the questions and then correspondingly he will teach. This Upanishad is great because it takes small, very common examples and then makes the statement. So now in section 9, a question is raised. If I merge in Brahman in deep sleep, why I do not know it? The answer is the knower or karta, bhokta, pramata, knower. Karta, bhokta, pramata. He is not there. When you go to deep sleep, you don't even know when you fell asleep because karta and bhokta first drop. If you want to enjoy sleep, you should not even think about enjoyment. It's a state of where your pure presence is there. And there is no separate presence to see that. Because it's an object, it is you. You merge in you. It has no objective nature to it. So the section 9 beautifully says, it is just like honey gathered from different flowers and then one combined into the honeycomb. All the droplets of honey, they lose separate identities. It's called all honey. Deep sleep is just like that. The example of honey is sweetness. Deep sleep exact like that. You don't. So and then the Upanishad makes it clearly. Once you go to deep sleep, whether you are a man, or a tiger, or a boar, or a lion, or even a mosquito, or a fly, or a wolf, it doesn't matter. You are in Sat. Look at the profundity of that sentence. The identification is not natural. It is only assumed. So in the natural state, all living beings are one. Sa Atma. All. So prajaha, so it gives a clarity. So the question is, how come I do not know The knower is called ego. Karta, he is not there. You are into true self. Whereas the knower and karta, bhokta is your assumed actor, on stage personality. Off stage personality, in the green room personality, is deep sleep. That's why you do not know. Mind is not there. So, this is the beauty of this Upanishad. It says, so basically, what is the conclusion? You only have to know who you are during the waking state. How? By letting the mind revel in itself. Atmanyeva Atmana Tustaha. Not an outside knowledge based habits. It's a reversal of existence. I exist in the body as body mind versus I exist as a Satchit conscious existence, presence, impersonal being, and that is my green room. Green room means without my personality. But on the stage, I have a personality as Rama or Krishna as act, as husband, wife, father, son, employee, employer, like this. These are all the pramata has come. The person, based upon limited knowledge and information, he has come into life. So he has drawn a circle around himself and then identifies within that circle. So he's, although he's jailed. So how can you get out of? By Viveka and Vairagya, you actually understand you are not that. You are only a role you are playing. But that would not deplete you from your clarity once the clarity takes place here. It's a transformation. It is vidya, with. So, so it's extremely crucial. So the questions are going to continue. So basically, in deep sleep, you are as a pramata, you don't exist. So when does then what the natural question that will come to you is, okay, as a pramata, as a knower, as a karta, as a bhokta. Karta means doer, bhokta means enjoyer. Pramata means a person providing knowledge, information. So after I wake up, I have pramata, I know. My mind is now enjoy. Now, even when I wake up, how come I don't know that I have come from Brahman? That question can come up. So section number 6 answers that question. So let us read section number 6. This is extremely important. These are extremely important sections. Okay, clarity of the heart is important here. Okay, let's go to section number 10. Okay, now here the example of reverse is given. This Upanishad, as I mentioned earlier, some beautiful examples are given to make the important, very complicated questions and answers. Ima Saumya Nadhyah Purastat Prachyah Sendante Paschat Pratichyah Taha Samudrat Samudrameva Apiyanti Sa Samudra Eva Bhavati ताः यथा तत्र न विदुः इयम् अहम् अस्मि इयम् अहम् अस्मि इति. I will read number 1 again. इमाः सौम्य नद्यः पुरस्तात् प्राच्यः स्यन्दन्ते पश्चात् प्रतीच्यः ताः समुद्रात् समुद्रमेव अपियन्ति सः समुद्र एव भवति ता यथा तत्र न विदुः इयम् अहम् अस्मि Yam aham asmi iti. That's number one. We'll do number two and number three also. Evameva khalu saumya ima sarvaha prajaha sata agamya naviduhu sata agachami aham agachamaha iti ta iha vyagro va सिंहो वा वृको वा वराहो वा कीटो वा पतंगो वा दंशो वा मशको वा यद्यद् भवन्ति तदा भवन्ति. I will read again. Number two. एवमेव खलु सौम्य इमा सर्वाः प्रजाः सत आगम्य न विदुः सत आगच्छामः इति ता इह व्याघ्रो वा सिंहो वा वृको वा वराहो वा कीटो वा पतंगो वा दंशो वा मशको वा यद्यद् भवन्ति तदा भवन्ति. Number three, it repeats the same thing that is done before, but I will read it. स एष अणिमा एतदात्ममिदगं सर्वं तत्सत्यं स आत्मा तत्त्वमसि श्वेतकेतो इति भूय एव मा भगवान् विज्ञापयतु इति तथा सौम्य इति होवाच. सय एषो अणिमा एतदात्ममिदगं सर्वं तत्सत्यं स आत्मा तत्त्वमसि श्वेतकेतो इति भूय एव मा भगवान् विज्ञापयतु इति तथा सौम्य iti hovacha. Okay. Here, the question is, I did not know while I was in deep sleep, but I should know after I wake up that I came from Brahman. See. So the answer is, knowledge is always of something of a memory. If that memory is not there during the time when you are taking the knowledge is taking place, then you would not know. You only have experience of happiness. But you don't have knowledge I am Brahman at that point. Because you are covered by ignorance. So I am happy, I slept well, you would say. Susupta sukham aham apsapsam na kinchid avedishum. I did not know anything, I slept well. That's all. Because you are in ignorance. You only know, I did not know anything. I had a great sleep. Until there is a knowledge of experience, during that, it will not be a memory. So I have to have that experience in my heart with open eyes when mind stops and I experience peace within myself as myself. Which is possible. Between thoughts, when the mind stops, when you are extremely happy, your mind stops. You can be a witness to all the experiences in life, then experience pass, you remain as witness. Happiness. You learn to see goodness everywhere. Shivahood is not outside, it is where you are, where the mind stops. So Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vihaya kaman yas sarvan pumam sharati nispruha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashanti madhigacchati. Chapter 2, 71st sloka. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan pumam sharati nispruha, without expectations. See, you create a circle around you and you want everything within that circle. That is I, mama, ahankara and mamakara. And your expectations within that circle. And constantly you are in a jail. And you don't know that. So he is saying, Vihaya kaman sarvan pumans charati nispruha. So you are living in a rut, but you don't know. And you keep on perpetuating it. That's the problem. What is the reason? Nirmamo nirahankara. When you become free from that circle you draw around yourself. That circle is bound by time and space. In you, by you. Since my childhood, isn't this good? You constantly can't talk about yourself, which is past. And then you keep on, sometimes even, discrediting others to heighten yourself. All this is a mental. Nirmamo nirahankara. Sashantim adhigachyati. Sri Krishna. So that is the reason. So this mantra here, I'm going to mantra now, number 10. Ima Somya, Imaha Somya, Nadhyaha. This is giving an example of rivers. Purastat Prachyaha Sandante. Prachyaha means eastern flowing. Suppose Ganges is coming, starts from the north and starts going along the east coast of India. Purastat, to the east. Sandante, they flow. Paschat Pratichyaha. Pratichya means western. Paschat, going to the west. Taha Samudraha Samudrat. These rivers, where do they originate? Samudrat. From the ocean. Samudram eva apiyanti. Where do they dissolve? Where do they disappear? In the ocean. But while they are flowing, you give names and forms. But if they are aware, I am actually came from the ocean, I am still the ocean, I am going back to the ocean. If you have that clarity, then you are free. But it doesn't appear, it doesn't occur to you. Even the flow of life, consciousness and existence, appearance everywhere around you, sat, appearance in consciousness, with you, within you. But your mind is not on awareness and existence, which is unaffected. Thoughts come and go, you are still there. So just like the rivers have forgotten that they have come from ocean, they are actually ocean only. In the same way, you and I have forgotten during deep sleep, we didn't have the awareness that we are consciousness existence. And during the lifetime, I identify ourselves with the names. This is Ganges, this is Yamuna, this is Krishna, this is Godavari, like that we have. This is Kaveri, like that. But it's nothing but ocean water only. It came, went up, then rained, and then went back into the ocean and recirculating. So it has always been water. Samudra eva bhavati, ta yatha tatra na viduhu. They do not know. They are actually ocean. Yam aham asmi iti. I am actually ocean. I came from ocean. I go back to ocean. I am ocean. In the same way, that knowledge, when it's not there, it does not translate into. So during the state when you are experiencing this body, mind, and intellect, which you have name and form, during the state you have to have the knowledge that I am actually that, I am here as an actor. on the stage as a husband, wife, son, or whatever. But I came out of pure presence, and it's still I am that. I'm just calling myself in the context where I am, but I am not this. See, as I mentioned earlier, we all have three layers of personality: physical, psychological, and then we deposit the physical and psychological in the identity called personality, individual person, persona, an identity. And then within those three ranges, we get lost. So all of these three can be negated by knowledge that I am Sat, which is borrowing existence. Any thought that I come to me is not me, it's just a thought. And that is possible by witnessing it. But not feeding it. Then all problems will disappear. Then you act as a role, as a father, mother, and that has to be your way of sadhana. And that has to take place through knowledge here. Keep that state of pure, happy, existential awareness, witness. Even the personality changes. All of these, the commonness of all these is change. Only thing is changeless is that state of pure presence, happiness. Our individual personalities change. A child, we are a student. Then as you're learning here, you're changing. Then we become a husband. Then you become father. All this, these are all changing personalities. You change a job, you got a new job, new employee, new boss. Then your personality has to change according to the job. These are only roles. They are not you. That clarity has to come that those roles have their own circles with individual role playing personality there. You just drop all those circles, you become infinite. That's what you're saying. Just like rivers are being called by different names, but in fact they came out of ocean and they went back to the ocean. In the same way, you are playing different roles. It's a flow. Life is a flow. But don't get lost in the flow by names and forms, identifications. Evameva kholu somya ima sarvaha. In the same way, just like rivers have transactional names, but forget, you and I forget. It is actually coming from a little bit of knowledge is required. It is nothing but motion. In the same way, a little bit of knowledge is required. The flow of life is going through this. He said, Evameva somya ima sarvaha prajaha. All these humans. Praja actually means that which is born. Prakarshena jayate iti. Prajaha sata agamya. They all come from sataha, from sat. Naviduhu sata agachamaha iti. But they do not know I have come from sat. So knowledge is required. And it's not rocket science, as I was telling you. You have that presence, you can experience it. But you need to hang on to it continuously, being witness attitude. Iti. Te here Vyagrova, again he repeats, whether it is a tiger, whether it is a lion, whether it is a wolf, whether it is a boar, whether it is a worm, whether it is a flying insect, as a fly or a mosquito. Doesn't make any difference. If once you forget, you are essentially pure, essential, blissful, without names and forms, identifications. They are all Sat only. And then that is that essential animas, finest of the fine. Aitadatmamidam, that is the essence of everything. You and the world. Sarvam, of all. Tat Satyam, that is the only changeless reality. Not that in the circles that you draw around yourself. Sa Atma, that is the essence of everything. Whatever you call name and form, like my wife, my son, they are also Atma. Sat. Samoham Sarvabhuteshu, Sri Krishna says. Tattvamasi, he Svetaketo. Again, he said that is what. So this repeats 9 times, I think, in this Upanishad, because that is essential teaching. The questions and answers are being asked in order to essentially drill this point in your heart, not here. Here. Peace comes here. Pieces come here. Peace is here. So you have to realize this knowledge you become as you remain. There is no action after that. There is no need for an action. Whereas for this knowledge, it is expectations are there. Some knowledge, some action is the basis for this knowledge. Bhagavan Shankaracharya repeatedly he says, there is no samuchaya between karma and jnana. Once knowledge takes place, karma automatically is not important after that. There is no meditation. You are that. But until that point, there are some purifications are required. But jnana, as such, when it takes place here, then you open the door, you know who you are. Then life is not the same after that. Because you are content within yourself. You know this will also pass. Because just like a river, it will go to Samudram eventually. So, Svetaketu. Then he again, Svetaketu says, Bhuya eva ma Bhagavan vijñapayetu iti. Father, please repeat again. Please explain further. Tadha Saumya ho vacha. Okay, I will tell. Vachaha. He said, I will explain further. Basically, they are teaching us. Some of the questions are being raised and then being answered. So in this context, see, Sri Krishna also in Bhagavad Gita numerous times he explains the concepts involved. He has one sloka I will read, chapter 5, 26 verse. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. This is very assuring to listen to Bhagavad Gita in some context. Kama krodha viyuktonam itinam yata chetasam. Those who transcend compulsive desires, kama, krodha, anger, itinam, who have clarity and have controlled senses. Yata chetasam, the mind is within their control. As I said earlier, you are identify the piece, not the pieces. Our Gurudev says that. Abhito Brahma Nirvana. Vartate Viditatmanam. Viditatmanam, those who knows their essential nature. Vidita, she is a knowledge here. That I am that peace, between thoughts. Thoughts come and go, I am always there. I am that peace in deep sleep. And that state is still now, right there behind. I'm not. Everybody is also same thing. They're only bits and pieces of names and forms, but they are peaceful, all-pervading ocean of consciousness and existence. In that, the appearing and then going back. Do I see only the appearance or do I see the totality? If I see appearance, I kama krodha. I am bound by excitements and anxieties and desires and angers. Now, when you are only seeing that sat, that all pervading peaceful presence in and out, tatvasi, that outside, then abhito brahma nirvanam. For him, the essential happiness of the Brahma, nirvana, is now and after. It continues. Abhito means both way, with body and without body. So basically, a river flowing is like this body. When it merges in ocean, it is no body. But in both cases, actually, it is actually no body. It's only in mind only. River is still ocean only. So in the same way, abhito brahma nirvanam, while alive or after death, it continues. Brahma nirvanam. Vartate, continues. For who? Viditatmanam. Who knows who I am? Bhagavan Krishna, chapter 5, 26th verse. So beautiful. This is not a hypothesis, it is reality. You know between thoughts. You know how to become witness. You know how to be. Do not focus on becoming and what I have, what he or she has. These things are only kama krodhas, moha, all this. You don't be a slave because that means you are within the circle that you are draw. Since childhood, you are being brainwashed. You are a failure if you don't do it. But ultimate success, Upanishad is teaching. Okay. Now, go to the section 10. Section 10, I think section 11, I think we have to do. The exists mantra number, okay, good. Mantra number 11, it answers a question. Basically, the case of Samudram, in the case of the ocean, the example is given where it goes and merges. So the student might get a question, so would I know that I exist after death? Because the ocean example, rivers exist even after the death. The answer is obvious. Yes, you never existed separate from the water, ocean. But for common person's point of view, that question is required. Answer is only. So deep sleep is kind of a death, temporary death, where the ego is not there. Pramata, karta, bhokta are not there. Pramata means knower, karta means doer, bhokta means enjoyer. These are not there in the deep sleep. So death also, the physical death is there, but Sat can never die. The existence. So the answer is yes. As existence, you continue. That is the answer. But how do they will give some example in this context. The example is given using a tree as an example. Okay, so let me read the mantra section number 11. Very good. Asya Somya Mahato Vrukshasya Yo Mule Abhyahanyat Jivan Sravet. Yo Madhye Abhyahanyat Jivan Sravet. Yo Agre Abhyahanyat Jivan Sravet. Yeshaha Jivena Atmana Anuprabhutaha Pepiyamano Modamanaha Stishtati. Okay, let us repeat again. Asya Somya Mahato Vrukshasya Yo Mule Abhyahanyat Jivan Sravet. Yo Madhye Abhyahanyat Jivan Sravet. Yo Agre Abhyahanyat Jivan Sravet. Sa Esha Jivena Atmana Anuprabhutaha Pepiyamano Modamanaha Tishtati. We'll do this mantra. The example, what is he saying here? Asya Somya Mahato Vrukshasya Yo Mule Abhyahanyat. Hey Soumya, his son, a dear boy, dear one. Soumya means a gentle boy, gentle one. Mahato Vrukshasya. Take a, suppose, let's assume, obviously they have a Asya, nearby they have a ashram, there's a big tree is there. Yaha Mule Abhyahanyat. If you go at the bottom of the tree and then make a dent, imagine small cut. Jivan Savet, some kind of a liquid that showing it is alive will flow out. Yo Madhya Abhyahanya Jivan Savet. If you go to the middle, earlier Mula, in the middle of the tree, you go and make a small dent or small cut. Abhyahanyat. Then again, a fluid will come out showing it is alive. Agre Abhyahanya Jivan Sravet. If you go to the top, continuing, go to the top, and then they also make a smell, make cut. Then again, the fluid will come out showing it is alive. What is indicated? Eshaha Jivena Atmana Anuprabhutaha. It's a proof that it is pervaded by Jivena Atmana, a living presence, self. And doing what? Pepiyamanaha, drinking water that you from rain or from the ground. Modamanaha, and then relishing the atmosphere, which the tree is doing that. Tisthati, it is standing there. So, next mantra will explain. I'm not going to go into that, but I'm just giving you the picture. Next week we'll take it up. Next mantra will explain if you, one of the sections, one of the sakha means one of the branches die, then it will not feed it, but the tree is still alive. In the same way, if some other leaves dry, they fall off, but the tree is alive. In the same way, simply because temporarily something is inactive, it does not mean life is gone. See, while we are alive, our teeth are falling off, our heads, Our nails are falling off, our hair is falling off. Some of the people have disabled hands and legs. In the same way, whole body also might fall off, but life is still continues. So a tree example is taken in order to make a point that life is continuous. Some sections, some places, sometimes they wither out and die, or sometimes the whole thing dries. It does not mean life is gone. See, in Kathopanishad also we saw similar question is asked. After death, is existence or there not? Then I mentioned there, Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 also mentions, same thing it says. So we learnt, and I want to repeat those points here. See, life, which is Atman, is not a product of this body, or not a part of this body, or not even a property of this body. See, our mind is, that's why the Upanishad is trying to get you out of the thought process. We say Atma is inside me. That is just mind telling you, not knowing you are in Atma. So second point is, first point is, it's not a property or product or a part of the body. Atma is. And the body, mind, and intellect are actually sentient because of Atma. It is the life principle behind all these things that are acting. So, because of the, even if the body falls, Atma sentiency remains. Just like even the name of the river is gone after merging, but water has not gone. Name is just name and form in your mind is gone. That's all. But once it is merged into the ocean, you would not know. In the same way, once you withdrawn yourself into the Sat, you would not be able to grossly, you cannot interact with it. A gross transaction requires the physical body. That is the answer. In the tree, gross transactions you can do it, and then so life is still there here and there. It's a continuum. In the same way, life is continuum, whether some parts go and come, you grow, some constantly, where apparently every 7 years, whole entire body changes. Scientists have proven that. So you have to get that clarity. The continuity of existence, consciousness, is independent of your body, mind, and intellect. What you think is only a reflection in consciousness because of conditioned consciousness, the circular thinking with the ego in the center, you can say. That's only borrowed consciousness, which is conditioned by people, upbringing, and your fears, anxieties, blah, 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 blah. But none of them are you. There's just a flow like a river. And this point is proven further. We'll take it up next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om